Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We have news with the expected and hopefully just minor delays for 3.9. We've got roadmap and feature updates. CIG have talked more about multi-crew gameplay plans, the Idris and even Vulkan support in the calling all devs that they did. All of that, as well as a quick summary of the rest of the news that happened this week, ending the 29th of March 2020. Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 is still in its EVOCATI phase, which isn't ideal for me because I wanted to be able to talk about it. We were hoping for first wave PTU by now. In fact, I was hoping for that about a week ago. But this is due to most CIG employees now working from home and the current global situation. It's sort of to be expected that there's going to be some delays, even if they are minor. CIG have made a statement as well. The team is hard at work on getting Alpha 3.9 ready to go and in your hands, due to a variety of factors, such as the recent transition to working from home and our push to improve stability and playability. Alpha 3.9 won't quite be ready in time for its original release goal in a few days. As you know, we're currently in our EVOCATI testing phase and plan to release to a wider group on the PTU very soon. We're very close. As always, we'll keep you updated, so keep an eye out for more information. So, very soon for first wave, but not yet. It's a little annoying because I want to play. There have been some updates to the roadmap for 4.0 and 4.1, the Q2 and Q3 2020 patches respectively. Docking as a more combined feature is now in for 4.1. So work with ship-to-ship docking and ship-to-station docking is now effectively the same, that the physics proxy has been completed. This will be adding the ability to dock and spawn ship vehicles connected to space stations, as well as docking two ships together. This functionality is required for some of the larger ships to spawn at certain locations. It was said by CIG previously as well that parasite docking for the P-52 and P-72 for the constellations would be working at the same time as this feature releases, so hopefully that's still the case. This is one of the major features for getting larger ships in-game, refueling, ship-to-ship, boarding, and much, much more. Obviously, it's a core feature, as most stuff is that Star Citizen is currently building out. Security systems, due to work on tasks taking longer than expected, including tasks towards the upcoming prison system and a handful of tasks surrounding an unannounced event. That's interesting. Unannounced event. Could that be a free flight? Could that be something more major, like a concierge event or something like that, or big live stream? We don't know yet. There was not enough bandwidth able to be allocated to the system for this quarter. They have removed the feature from 4.0 and the roadmap temporarily until they know where it's going to fall in the schedule. Space station cargo decks have now got an updated description. So cargo decks are facilities with rest stops where players can handle all their cargo needs, from dropping off and picking up to buying new cargo equipment and taking on cargo-related missions. As both docking and cargo decks are coming in 4.1 now, expect this to be a pretty big economy update with the patch as well, because this is like a whole new section for space stations, adding to the modularity of having these sort of like large cargo sections in certain stations where you can do a load of this sort of cargo gameplay, and this will expand out to refineries and things like that as well. But this is one of the places where you will go when you want to load and unload cargo, and there will be times associated with loading and unloading and fees eventually as well, things like that. With inside Star Citizen, we saw a little more of new BABBAGE, the landing zone on Microtech, as well as updates to the weapon attachment UI coming in Alpha 3.9. There were some interesting infographics from CIG this month as well. Apparently there are around 10,000 missions completed by unique users each day. This should mean that Star Citizen actually has quite a high concurrent player count and active player base, even at this stage in the alpha, and during a quieter period for the game, I suppose, because there's sort of like a big lull after 6 to 8 weeks after a major patch is released while we're waiting for the next patch. I am interested to know what the average play session time is for players, though. That would be very interesting. This week's sneak peek was another shot of the Klesha automated prison. Very much looking forward to the location and prison gameplay in 3.9. Also, it looks like April's subscriber flare may be some outlawish helmets in various different colours, very cool looking. In other news, we had confirmation of a settlement between Crytek and CIG for their lawsuit, where both parties are now going to be taking care of their own legal expenses, but the lawsuit is now effectively over. If we get any more details of anything for that in the future, I will let you know. I've got videos covering the whole of that lawsuit and everything, but hopefully this is the last mention I will have of it in a video. Calling all devs, Idris and multi-crew summary. So, in Calling all devs, they talked about some very cool stuff. in a 25-minute episode. Really loving the Calling All Devs now. I hope they keep that up indefinitely and add it to the live sort of offerings and other video offerings each week. There is an NPC Idris that you can fight against as part of the Arlington Gang mission series in Alpha 3.9. The exterior of the Idris is now mostly there, as is the damage work for it and the sort of turret work, and the AI controlling the turrets is working. However, the interior is very much a work in progress. It will get some more refinement with new features coming online, especially work on ship systems, UI, and the multi-crew experience, which we'll talk about in a second, but it won't be available as a player flyable ship for a while. They don't want to release the ship as just a functionless fighter for players, and I don't believe it's going to be boardable in 3.9, although it's certainly worth a try. The NPC Idris has seen a bit of balance for 3.9 as well, but it will require a big team to take it down, although they are expecting players to try and break the Idris mission in any way they can, and that's actually amazingly helpful for their sort of development as well and balance. They are refining the multi-crew gameplay experience as well. They are working on a permission system where the captain of a ship can assign item control and MFD functionality to the crew, so they can basically have organic roles. You can go, well, I want this guy to be an engineer. He's in charge of power and the associated systems with that. And then they also have access to all the other areas of the ship so they can do repairs. That combined with actual like physical components and more ship-based mechanics as well as expanded interactivity will add massively to multi-crew over the next few quarters. They will continue to add depth to these systems and gameplay from patch to patch, though every role and gameplay loop is different. They don't really want it to be like abstract mini-games and quick-time events. For most of the gameplay, they want it to be interaction with individual systems, like an engineer, again, inspecting and maintaining individual components, taking something out, replacing it with something else, fiddling with it, looking at it, subcomponents, substations, relays, that sort of stuff, replacing components and using a repair tool, sort of like going around the ship. They are still working out exactly what gameplay there will be for each of the potential roles on a ship and how you'll interact with each of those stations and systems. You'll be able to define your own role, though, in any given ship based on, you know, how you want to organize it. A captain of a ship should be commanding people on the ship, directing how things are progressing and giving permissions and saying where we're going, but then the other people should, like the pilot, should be able to get you there. Tactical officers might look at scanning and radar functionality. Security officers will look at door controls, internal sensors, and maybe will walk around the ship, making sure people are secure in this sort of like first-person shooter sense. The Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan API. So Gen 12 renderer is the name that CIG internally use for the tech and the sort of like renderer they're building for their game and engine. This is mainly going to use Vulkan eventually. It's scalable to a lot of CPU cores. It does a lot of pre-computations and is very efficient. It's going to reduce latency, it's going to increase performance significantly. The current engine uses DirectX 11, and then they're going to be moving on to using both DirectX 11 and Vulkan, and then eventually they're going to be moving over entirely to Vulkan. It's lighter weight, faster, and allows them to focus on a hardware-neutral approach where they're optimizing the game and engine and renderer, rather than going, well, we need to optimize for NVIDIA cards and AMD cards separately. Though it's more of an initial development investment, it will give a lot more performance wins once it's all done. They are working on this now, though. It's going to take some time. It's the main focus of the graphics and engine teams, with a lot of mini teams tackling different parts of that renderer. One of the things that Vulkan allows is access to more features that CIG may want to use in the future, like ray tracing. It's basically future-proofing their engine. And that's sort of it for today's news update for Star Citizen. But what do you think? Are you excited for things like Vulkan coming into the game? You know, graphics APIs? I mean, it is actually quite important. It does allow them potentially to even start looking, or at least planning, for VR for Squadron 42 or something like that. Are you excited for the Idris mission in 3.9? Are you a bit disappointed that 3.9's effectively got at least a minor delay? And I do think it's just going to be a minor delay. Do you think it's going to be a minor delay? And when do you think 3.9 will be on our hands live? I'm expecting sort of like middle of April now for a live build. Are you excited about updates to the multi-crew experience? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway for Star Citizen. This month we are giving away an Anvil Arrow Light Fighter and game package with that, so you can have access to Star Citizen if you don't already. All you got to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during the month of March. There are full details in the description below. I am a shill for a couple of companies, NordVPN and NordPass. If you are looking for a VPN or a password management system them, I recommend you check them out. They've got many benefits over free services, and as I'm pretty security conscious, I love those kind of services. Also, there's Shadow. If you are thinking about getting a new gaming rig or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or whatever, then consider Shadow instead. It is a internet cloud-based subscription service like Stadia, like GeForce Now, but this one gives you access to a full Windows 10 environment which is fully customizable, and that is significantly better in my opinion, allowing you to do a lot more with it. Check out the links below for them or use the code BoredGamer for discount. Also, if you wish to support the channel further, there is Patreon, there's the YouTube join member button down below. That really helps. This is a community supported channel and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support that I get. If you want to share these videos, if you want to comment, give feedback, whatever, that is also hugely appreciated. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care and I'll see you in the verse.